Numbers chapter 17. The Lord said to Moses, "Tell Eleazar, son of Aaron the priest, to remove the censers from the embers, and scatter the fire some distance away, for they have become holy. The censers of those who sinned at the cost of their lives, have them hammered into pieces to cover the altar, because in being presented before the Lord, they have become holy in this way. They shall serve as a sign to the Israelites." So taking the bronze censers, which had been presented to those who were burned, Eleazar the priest had them hammered into a covering for the altar, just as the Lord had directed him through Moses. This was to be a reminder to the Israelites that no unauthorized person, no one who was not a descendant of Aaron, should draw near to the offer incense before the Lord, lest he meet the fate of Korah and his faction. The next day the whole Israelite community grumbled against Moses and Aaron, saying, "You have killed the people of the Lord." But while the community was assembled against them, Moses and Aaron turned toward the tent of meeting, and the cloud now covered it, and the glory of the Lord appeared. Then Moses and Aaron came to the front of the tent of meeting, and the Lord said to Moses, "Remove yourselves from this community, that I may consume them at once." But they fell prostrate. Then Moses said to Aaron, "Take your censer, put fire from the altar in it, lay incense on it, and bring it quickly to the community to make atonement for them, for wrath has come forth from the Lord, and the plague has begun." Aaron took his censer just as Moses directed, and ran in among the assembly where the plague had already begun among the people. Then he offered the incense and made atonement for the people, while standing there between the living and the dead, and so the scourge was checked. There were 14,700 dead from the scourge, in addition to those who died because of the Korah. When the scourge had been checked, Aaron returned to Moses at the entrance of the tent of meeting. Aaron's staff, the Lord now said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and get from them a staff for each ancestral house, 12 staffs in all, from all the leaders of their ancestral houses. Write each man's name on the staff, and write Aaron's name on Levi's staff, for each head of an ancestral house shall have a staff. Then deposit them in the tent of meeting, in front of the covenant, where I meet you. The staff of the man whom I choose shall sprout. Thus I will rid myself of the Israelites grumbling against you." So Moses spoke to the Israelites, and all their leaders gave him staffs, 12 in all, one from each leader of their ancestral houses, and Aaron's staff was among them. Then Moses deposited the staffs before the Lord in the tent of the covenant. The next day, when Moses entered the tent of the covenant, Aaron's staff, representing the house of Levi, had sprouted. It had put forth sprouts, produced blossoms, and borne ripe almonds. So Moses brought out all the staffs from the Lord's presence to all the Israelites, and each one identified his own staff and took it. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Put back Aaron's staff in front of the covenant for safekeeping, as a sign to the rebellious, so that their grumbling against me may cease, and that they may not die against me." Moses said this, just as the Lord had commanded him, so he did. Charge of the sacred things. Then the Israelites explained to Moses, "We will perish. We are lost. We are all lost. Anyone who approaches the tabernacle of the Lord will die. Will there be no end to our perishing?" Numbers chapter 18. The Lord said to Aaron, "You and your sons, as well as your ancestral house with you, shall be responsible for any sin with respect to the sanctuary. But only you and your sons with you shall be responsible for any sin with respect to your priesthood. You shall also present with your kinsmen of the tribe of Levi, your ancestral tribe, and they may be joined to you and assist you. While you and your sons and you are in front of the tent of the covenant, they shall discharge your obligations. And those with respect to the whole tent, however, they shall not come near the utensils of the sanctuary or the altar, or else both they and you will die. They will be joined to you to perform the duties associated with the tent of meeting, all the labor pertaining to the tent, but no unauthorized person shall come near you. You shall perform the duties of the sanctuary and of the altar, that wrath may not fall again upon the Israelites. I hereby take your kinsmen, the Levites, from among the Israelites. They are a gift to you, dedicated to the Lord for the labor they perform for the tent of meeting. But you and your sons with you must take care to exercise your priesthood in whatever concerns the altar and the area within the veil. I give you your priesthood as a gift. Any unauthorized person who comes near shall be put to death. The priest's share of the sacrifices." The Lord said to Aaron, "I hereby give to you charge of the contributions made to me, including the various holy offerings of the Israelites. I assign them to you and to your sons as a prerequisite, a perpetual due. This is what you shall have from the oblations that are most holy. Every offspring of theirs, namely all their grain offerings, purification offerings, and reparation offerings, which they must return to me, shall be most holy for you and for your sons. You shall eat them in a most holy place. Every male may partake of them. As holy they belong to you. This also you shall have, the contributions that are their gifts, including the elevated offering of the Israelites. I assign them to you and to your sons and daughters, and to you as perpetual due. All in your household who are clean may eat them. I also assign to you all the best of the new oil and all of the new wine and grain that they give to the Lord as their first produce that has been processed, the first ripened fruits of whatever it is in their land, which they bring to the Lord shall be yours. All of your household who are clean may eat of them. Whatever is under the ban in Israel shall be yours. Every living thing that opens the womb, human being and beast alike, such as are, to be offered to the Lord shall be yours. But you must redeem the firstborn of human beings, as well as redeem the firstborn of the clean animals, for the redemption price of a son when he is a month old, and you shall pay the equivalent of 5 silver shekels according to the sanctuary shekel, that is 20 gerahs. But the firstborn of the cattle, or the firstborn of sheep, or the firstborn of goats, you shall not redeem. They are holy. Their blood you must splash on the altar, and their fat you must burn, as an oblation of pleasing aroma to the Lord. Their meat, however, shall be yours, just as the brisket of the elevated offering, and the right thigh belong to you. As a perpetual due, I assign to you and to your sons and your daughters with you all the contributions of the holy things which the Israelites set aside for the Lord. This is a covenant of salt, to last forever before the Lord, for you and for your descendants with you. Then the Lord said to Aaron, You shall not have any heritage in their land, nor hold any portion among them. I will be your portion, and your heritage among the Israelites, tithes due to the Levites. To the Levites, however, I hereby assign all tithes in Israel as their heritage, in recompense for their labor they performed, the labor pertaining to the tent of meeting. The Israelites may no longer approach the tent of meeting, thereby incurring the penalty of death. Only the Levites are to perform the labor pertaining to the tent of meeting, and they shall incur the penalty for Israelite sin. This is a permanent statute for all your generations. But they shall not have any heritage among the Israelites, for I have assigned to the Levites as their heritage the tithes which the Israelites put aside as a contribution to the Lord. That is why I have said that they will not have any heritage among the Israelites. Tithes paid by the Levites. The Lord said to Moses, Speak to the Levites and say to them, When you take from the Israelites the tithes I have assigned to you from them as your heritage, you are to make a contribution from them to the Lord, a tithe of the tithe, and your contribution will be credited to you as if it were grain from the threshing floor, or new wine from the vat. Thus you too shall make a contribution to the Lord from all the tithes you take from the Israelites, handing over to Aaron the priest the contribution to the Lord. From all the gifts to you, you shall make every contribution due to the Lord, from their best parts, that is the part to be consecrated from them. Say to them also, once you have made your contribution from the best part, the rest of the tithe will be credited to the Levites, as if it were produce of the threshing floor or the produce of the vat. You and your households may eat it anywhere, since it is your recompense in exchange for labor in the tent of meeting. You will incur no punishment when you contribute the best part of it, but do not profane the holy offerings of the Israelites, or else you shall die. God bless you.